We talked about another company that was just literally on life support, that we just literally were throwing the dirt on top of it. Here's another one that practically should be in the grave. Why it's still around, I still question it. And what we're talking about is GameStop. That's right, folks. Yep. If you haven't heard this yet, GameStop is still alive, even though their net loss recently is $415.3 million. That's million with an M. This company has been pretty much struggling the last couple of years, dealing with online services now. Most companies are downloading games. Makes it much easier for us on there. I mean, I know I have friends who love to have the disc in hand, but of course they can still get it mailed to them via Newegg, Amazon, Walmart, or, Target, or they can go into those stores itself. And they're well priced on a lot of when they go into there. And for the last couple of years, you've seen GameStop start shutting down a couple of stores, laying off people. They're starting to lay top people off now, in their executive part. And now it's leaking into their employees. Now they're going to be closing up to 200 stores. But from what I understand, and from some experts in the industry, it's probably going to be a lot more. It's going to be a lot more on there. You kind of figured with Nintendo Switch that they would have at least tried to take advantage of that and boost their business. But see, the thing about it is that they would say when you have a big company come in, it hurts the mom and pop. In this case, it's the reverse. The mom and pop video game stores have been doing well. Why have they been doing well? Because they've been diversifying what they sell in these stores properly, depending on where you are in the country. That's why those stores are doing much better than GameStop on there. Because, you walk into most GameStops. I mean, there are some GameStops that are crowded, and I have to say there are some out there that are crowded. There's a guy online that talks about this on YouTube. Basically, there are the ones that are just literally deserted. There's hardly nobody's there. But also, they're starting to sell a lot of crazy stuff. They're starting to sell T-shirts. They're starting to sell, I can understand Funko Pop's very popular on there, but they're selling Funko Pops. They're selling stationery and stuff like that. But that's just literally it's not even meat and potatoes. That's like batteries and candy at the register, literally. Because when you go to a supermarket or you go to to like Home Depot, something like that, you got you got those little shelves on the side panels, the registers while you're waiting. They might have the magazine, they might have candy, and that's what literally GameStop has become. Has become that little shop that just what's by the register. Even though I know that they've put game cards into the store where they're selling the game cards for certain games and stuff like that, a little too late. Little too late. The other half is that basically, they sell the used games, but, on certain games, why do they throw out the covers? And, I've seen some places where they just literally have the games in there and they don't have the covers of the games. Because they've taken them apart and thrown them out. People want the covers. They do want the covers to the games. They don't want to leaving it laid out on there. They like to put it on the shelves. I mean, there are plenty of YouTubers. Let me tell you, there are plenty of YouTubers out there that have good game areas where they have so much on there. And let me tell you, one of the best places, and I'll tell you this, one of the best places is to buy older video games. Local and basically from Japan, is in Japan. And they're treated very well. If you ever go into a Japanese, there is a guy, and I forget his name on there. He does a series, and he did it in Japan. Yeah, it's Metal Jesus Rocks. That's the one. Check out his YouTube channel. He has a great channel, and he took a trip to Japan and mostly to buy video games, really, on there. And he takes you into some of the stores to see how some of the stores are built up there and how things are packaged, especially the used video units. They do a very good job over there, putting everything together to sell. And when you look at it on this end, number one thing about GameStop, they overcharge on their used units. Mom and pops charge about $25 to $35 less than what GameStop charges on there. Two, a lot of times I don't know who's the company they use, and I've seen a lot of other guys talk about this on YouTube, that the companies that GameStop uses doesn't do a good job in the refurbishments. And a lot of times the units come they're not working, or something's not working properly and it has to be replaced as well. And or it's just literally just completely dead in the water. And like I said, that can happen. Refurbished units happen. But if you're a refurbished company, you should be able to put out a good, decent product if you're refurbishing it. But it depends on who their third-party refurbisher is. Because if you have a lousy refurbisher, they're never going to get you. They're never going to get you going. And they put them in these nice boxes and stuff like that. But overseas they wrap them nicely, and they can put them on a shelf. And when you look at it, and you can see what it is in there, you can see that they're taking care for the units themselves. And the same thing with the video games. And like I said, I don't understand, why did they get rid of the boxes? Now, I can understand it's some people that return them without the boxes, but that's not many. Most people return, like when they sell back the games, they bring the cartridge covers. Because people want those cartridge covers, plain and simple. They want to display those ones, and it's important to them. But some people say, well, the console, it's winding down because of cloud gaming. Cloud gaming is coming. Now, is it going to be a big hit immediately? No, it's not, and I'll tell you why. It's Stadia, which is going to be coming out very soon, is going to have a lot of problems on launch, and I'll tell you why. Not everybody's wireless system, Wi-Fi, whatever you want to call it, is configured the same. It's not using the same company. Comcast, AT&T, Verizon, they're all different. Everybody individually has different services, because basically when you're using cloud service, you have to have a certain amount of speed in your system. In your wireless system, when you're sending the signal out and coming back. And at points, you have other people using that same wireless setup. Or you could be alone, same situation. But depending on what speed capacity you have at, and what networking, how you have it set up, it will determine how it's going to work. And from what some experts have been saying, and what some people are saying online too, it's not going to work for everybody. It's not for everybody, and believe it or not, it's going to be lower than you think, the amount of people that will be able to get it going good. Now they said, well, at the convention they showed it at, it was working great. Yeah, because it was through their servers directly, and that's direct to their link. Here, you got to go out of the system into their system, or in my case, my Verizon system has to log on to their systems just to get that back into me. I mean, my setup, I shouldn't have too much of a problem on there. But I know people who play the video games and stuff like that, online gaming for them is hit and miss. And there are some places in the country that, technically is still dial-up in a way. And that's not going to work well with cloud gaming. The infrastructure is not there. The infrastructure in a lot of states, doesn't work well. So when they say, well, the console gaming is on its way out, not too soon. And I think GameStop should have took advantage of that situation as well. Instead of flooding everything the way it is, I would have gone out. If I was I was CEO, I would have gone to the big places where there are a lot of the mom and pops, see how they're doing it, and try to replicate what they're doing. Because basically, you know, you have places like down in Chinatown in Manhattan, they sell video games like crazy. They do a very good business, refurbished units and stuff like that. And guys constantly in and out buying them on there. You know, some days they're very crowded. Some days they're not doing too well, but they're still in business. They're still making money. Whereas GameStop losing, just literally hemorrhaging. I mean, they just laid off a lot of people just in August. I think it was they eliminated 120 in staff, and that's going in August. That's going into season. That's going into the holiday season. If you're laying off at the end of August, where everybody else is hiring, where you have Walmart, Target, most of these other brick and mortars, they're hiring people, especially in the electronics departments, anywhere where basically you get a lot of high volume in the sections. Basically, you know, that is a bad sign. That is just literally a very, very bad sign. So comment below. Tell me how you feel about this. How long do you think GameStop has left? I'll tell you, in my case, and honestly, this is its last year. In my verse, I think GameStop will make it as far as maybe into the spring if we're lucky. Because January, February is a rough month, because that's month of returns and stuff like that. That, I think that's when they'll start to announce that they're basically just going to start shutting down operations, and I think they'll make it as far as spring before just completely shuttering everything. So I would say this is their final year. Next year is just literally just mopping up what they have left. That's in my stay. So tell me in the comments below, where do you sit as far as GameStop? Where do you sit to see if they're able to save themselves? What do you think they should do? Don't forget, we're on mindsandgab.com. Hit that subscription. Hit that like. Support us by sharing this video. Help us out there. Get the word out. If you enjoy this show, if you enjoy the programming on this network, on there, including the other shows that are on Q2Cast TV, you know, get the word out there. Send somebody one of these videos, you know, on your Facebook or on your Gab or any other social media accounts that you have. I would appreciate that. And I thank you for staying with us, sticking with us here on Man with the Show on Q2Cast TV.